For 12 years, I stood by her side. Not because it was easy, but because I believed in us. In every argument, every quiet night, every difficult moment we endured. Her name was Claire, a storm in human form, captivating, magnetic, and emotionally exhausting. With her, every day was either golden or shattering. And still I stayed. Through grief, career collapses, even a heartbreak of losing a child. I stayed. Until the night she decided I wasn't worth the truth anymore. It was a Thursday soaked in rain. I was chopping vegetables for her favorite, Thai noodles, when she entered the kitchen. No greeting, no smile, just arms crossed and an expression carved from stone. I'm moving in with Jordan. I blinked. Jordan who? My ex. The one I never should have left, she said, as if spitting venom. I froze, hand still on the cutting board. I've been with him for a while. All those overtime shifts, those fake business trips. I wasn't working. I was with him. I want out. I want my share of this house, and I want it now. She didn't even flinch when she said it. She just turned, walked the wall of framed memories we built together, plucked our wedding photo off the hook, and tore it clean down the middle. You were a mistake, Tom. Just a long pause between real chapters, she hissed. Then her sister walked in. Trisha, the same sister who'd always treated me like I was an errand boy in her life. She leaned in with a smirk and said, "Let her go, Tommy. You were always punching above your weight." I looked at them both, these women I call my family, and simply nodded. "Okay," I whispered, "if that's what you want." That night, I signed the separation papers. Everything she wanted, she got on paper. Anyway, she grinned like she'd won. But what Claire and her sister didn't know was that I'd already started laying the groundwork. Weeks before that kitchen ambush, I had noticed a shift. The guarded phone, the secretive smiles, the laughter that vanished when I walked into a room. So I started watching. Quietly. I didn't confront. I didn't accuse. I observed. Phone records revealed endless calls to Rachel Yoga. Claire never even liked yoga. Cross-referencing the number exposed a lie. Jordan Matthews. Her ex. I dug deeper and found money slipping out of our joint account into an unfamiliar one. Small sums, but frequent. Enough to set off alarms in my head. The next morning, I contacted my lawyer. "I think she's making a run for it," I told him. He didn't ask why. He just asked, "How clean do you want to walk away?" "Very," I replied. From that point, we began documenting everything. Her messages, her bank transfers, her voice notes. I even used a baby monitor app left running in the guest room to catch snippets of her late-night phone calls. The down payment for the house had come from my inheritance. I found the receipts. I made sure the paper trail was solid. Legally, the house was in both our names, but morally and soon financially, it would be mine. Curious, I also looked into Jordan. Public profiles, debt-ridden history, startup failures, back taxes, and a mountain of unpaid child support. He was a fantasy, an illusion, and I was ready to burn it down. Through a contact at work, I hired a private investigator. Within days, I had a full file on Jordan's fraud case, enough to make anyone reconsider shaking his hand, let alone building a future with him. I printed the entire file, slid it into an envelope, added a note. "Let your sister read this before she signs anything." I dropped it at Trisha's law firm. No name, no return address. The day I signed the final separation documents, I let them believe they had it all. I sold the house to a friend for a low price, legally binding. Claire's half was taxed, pre-cleared for legal expenses, and came with a lien-I filed because of her sneaky transfers. When she received the money, she texted, "This amount is wrong. Fix it." I replied, "Everything's by the book. Talk to your lawyer." She didn't have one. That was when the unraveling began. Days later, our former real estate agent called me. "Is it true you sold the house to Josh?" "Yes," I said calmly. "Well, Claire and Trisha came by today. They thought they still had keys. They were ready to move in. They assumed wrong," I said, smiling. That's when I knew they'd planned nothing. They had just counted on me being a fool. Emails began pouring in. Claire was panicked. Jordan's card stopped working. His car got towed. She wanted the rest of the house money to help him get on his feet. I ignored her. Meanwhile, I'd already watched Jordan pawn her jewelry days earlier. She didn't know. Yet, then came the bomb, Trisha's downfall. She had vouched for Jordan to a client at her firm, using her professional name to push him as a startup partner. The firm ran a background check. Game over. She got suspended. Her firm launched an internal investigation. She texted me in the middle of the night. I don't know what you sent, but Claire's in tears. I'm losing everything. Please stop this. I blocked her number. Then came the final blow, Jordan's own narcissism. He had been recording his conversations, claiming it was for a memoir. One of those files got leaked. Claire laughing about how she'd used me. Trisha joining in, mocking me. That audio clip landed in a private Facebook group. It found its way to me. I forwarded it to Claire's devout mother. The explosion that followed was swift. Her parents disowned them both. Jordan vanished, taking what little Claire had left. Trisha was suspended, disgraced, and possibly facing disbarment. Me? I was in my new condo, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise from a quiet balcony. I never responded to Claire's texts or Trisha's begging. I had what I needed, peace. One Sunday there was a knock. I opened the door to find Claire, unrecognizable. Hollow eyes, trembling hands. She looked like someone who'd finally seen her own reflection. "Can we talk?" she asked, barely above a whisper. I let her in, not from pity, but curiosity. She sat at the table and confessed everything. Jordan had called her baggage, said she was just decoration until the money dried up. She was alone, broke, and ashamed. "I don't know what happened to me," she said. "I thought I was in love. I thought I had more time." I didn't speak. "You didn't deserve what I did," she whispered. I finally said, "No, I didn't, and I'm not here to fix what you broke." Tears streamed down her face. She tried once more. "Can we try again?" I leaned forward. "When you tore up that photo, you weren't just ending us. You were erasing the last part of me that might have ever forgiven you." She nodded, stood slowly, and left without another word. 9 months later, I donated what remained of our wedding things, sold her last piece of jewelry, and funded a scholarship in my mother's name. I still see her name in my inbox. 19 unread emails, all screaming for help, all ignored. I don't keep them as trophies, just reminders. That silence isn't weakness. It's power.